What's going on, guys? Nick Ehrlich here with the Lean Life Revolution, and today we are talking about how to get cut fast, okay? Now, on a day-to-day basis, I like to exist in what I like to call walking around shape, okay? And what I consider walking around shape, that's a term, fighters a lot of times will talk about what their walk around weight is. That means what they weigh on a day-to-day basis. That's a lot of times 10 to 15 pounds heavier than whatever their fight weight is. But what I call walking around weight, because my training right now is geared more specifically towards a look or an aesthetic or a level of leanness, okay, is my walking around shape is anywhere from 10 to 14 days away from being what I would call ripped or shredded, okay? So I do that for a number of reasons. One, it lets me relax on my diet so that I'm not being super tight all the time. But remember, my diet most of the time is 90% of it what it needs to be. That means that if I want to one night a week have a glass of wine, I can do that, which I like doing a lot of times in the evening. If I want to once or twice on the weekend have a crappy meal or have dessert, I can do that, okay? So by allowing myself those things, I can still stay really 10 to 14 days away from being really lean. So if I want to cut fast, so a great example is I just booked a gig in 2 weeks. I got to do a model gig in 2 weeks where I know I'm really going to have to lean out. I'm going to have to be at my best. So what I'm going to do for the next 2 weeks is as follows. Number one, my carbs are going to drop significantly, okay? We're talking about under 100 grams of carbs a day because I'm really going to focus my diet on burning body fat and leaning out over the next 14 days. So if you're trying to get cut fast, one of the first things you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to drop that carbohydrate level to really pretty low, okay? And that's gonna do a number of things for me. One is that's gonna help me burn a lot of body fat. And two, that's gonna help me lose a lot of the water or a lot of the bloat that I have in my skin and my body, and it's really gonna create a really tight look for me. Okay, now, the second thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna increase my natural fat intake a little bit. So with some of my meals where I would have had maybe a serving of carbohydrates, I'm gonna add a serving of healthy fats. And for me, my favorite way of doing that is just raw almonds, okay? What I'll do is a couple meals a day, I'll throw in a small handful of raw almonds as soon as I'm done with that meal. And that's gonna help me kind of feel full a little bit and help me metabolize a little bit more fat. Upping my fat is gonna help me burn a little more fat. You gotta eat fat to burn fat. It's like you gotta spend money to make money, only it's with fat. That's a good example. I think it's a good example on the fly, okay? And then the third thing I'm gonna do is I'm really gonna focus on getting the water out of my skin. And one of my favorite tricks for that is taking Epsom salt baths in the evening, okay? So a couple times a week, I'm gonna take an Epsom salt bath. And what that's gonna help me do is that's gonna help me pull a little bit of the water content out of my skin and tighten things up a little bit on top of my muscles, okay? So in 2 weeks, I'll have dropped my carbs, increased my fats, and taken Epsom salt baths a few nights a week to help me burn a lot of body fat, get the bloat out of my system, and get a little of the water out of my skin to create that really tight, toned, ripped look that I'm gonna want next Saturday. So in like 13 days from now, I'm gonna be able to tighten up and cut that weight. So if you're looking to get cut fast, first of all, you need to be at a reasonable body composition, okay? If you're not coming down from 10 or 12%, it's probably unreasonable to think that you're gonna have a hard six-pack in 14 days, okay? But if you're already at that kind of 9 to 12% where you've got some abs, but you wouldn't call it a really like washerboard stomach, those three things are gonna help you get cut in a hurry, okay? So next time you're trying to tighten up for a pool party or a beach vacation, try those three things. Like us and subscribe for more. Then go to leanlifeabs.com. You get your free ab training report. Thanks for joining the revolution. We'll see you right back here.